Hello loves. Okay, so this video is going to be different from some of my other videos, hopefully. That's the idea anyway. I've had so many stomach issues. My gastroparesis is in a terrible spot. So if you see me like gasp or like burp or something like that, it's just my stomach is in peril, folks. Okay, so, and you know, eventually I'm going to have the bravery to sit down and talk about my health issues on camera. We'll see when that happens. Oh, I need my fan already. I need to unpack my my other fans that are so gorgeous. Woo! So this video is going to be a story time video, and it's just like a fun little story time get ready with me situation. We're going to be using the Magic Mushroom palette from Peachy Queen. Magic mushrooms. So that's actually what our story time is about. Psilocybin, my friends. So buckle in for a very interesting time. We're going to be using our lovely rainbow mirror here. So I want to show you the palette real quick before we get started. It's these neon shades. It's not picking up very well on camera. It's neon shades and then some trippy shimmer shades. So I love the mirror too. It's let's take a trip. Super cool, love it. So right now all I've got on my face is my skincare and the Glam Light icing in white. Okay, so I have tripped on mushrooms, friends. I know, hard to believe, right? I'm such a psychedelic person that it's hard to believe that I've tripped on mushrooms, and I've tripped on mushrooms a lot in my life. The first time that I tripped on mushrooms, I was 24. I was married to my second husband, which me and my friends jokingly named the Bible Brothers because they were extremely religious and strange. They were very strange people. And I found out shortly after getting married to my second husband that the house that I lived in was a grow house for marijuana. Like, how do you not know that? I don't know. Apparently, I mean, I couldn't smell anything, and I thought, you know, it just smelled like weed, and we smoked weed, and I just did not have any idea that they were growing it and selling it until I had been married to him for a couple of months, and he didn't tell me himself. His twin brother's ex-girlfriend called me and told me. So I was a little bit taken aback. I mean, I knew he smoked pot. I just had no idea like he was so involved. But my ride or die self was like, well, guess we're just gonna do this. We're just gonna do this then. So I think we had been married for like 5 or 6 months, and it was a strained relationship at best. We had a lot of issues, and we had a lot of issues, okay? But one night we were just doing our regular thing, smoking weed, telling stories, hanging out, you know, the huge. And somebody mentioned tripping on mushrooms. And I'm like, I don't know about that, guys. Like, I don't see myself as like, I don't think that I could trip on mushrooms, right? Plus, I was like, I hate the taste of mushrooms. I didn't realize it was like a different kind of mushrooms than what's on your dinner plate. I was like, I can't stand the taste of them. I'll never be able to do that. And I was convinced after a while to try it because it was natural. And that is true. It is a natural substance. So the idea was put forth that we were going to eat it on peanut butter toast. Cool. When I ate the mushrooms on top of this toast, it was horrible. They have this like almost like a gritty feeling to them, and when you're chewing them, it feels like you're chewing like dead bark or something. It's really weird. It's a very strange taste. So I was grossed out from the minute that it started because of the taste and consistency of the things. But about a half an hour into it, I was gone. By the way, see my pretty rainbow nails? So for this entire time, I remember spending an awful lot of time looking into the tile that he had on the kitchen or the dining room or something. Something had tile. And I spent an awful long time staring at the tile. And if you've ever taken mushrooms or know anything about them, things that are not alive become alive. Like the tile was moving in and out and coming up and going down. And that feeling when you're looking at things and you are on a substance, so you're not sure what's real and what's not real. I also did have a lot of itching going on. I was very itchy, and I have this bad habit of scratching apart scabs and things like that. See, I'm spending too much time talking and not enough time doing, which is my MO, totally. So I was scratching myself. I was covered in blood. And that didn't seem to bother me. I was just enamored into what I was into. I was looking at, I kept looking at my skin, kept looking at the floor. And then I spent what was told to me was hours in front of a mirror talking about my made-for-TV Lifetime movie. I kept saying, no, my hair's not right for this made-for-TV movie, right? Silliness, friends. And that was my first experience. I do not know what to do with my eyeshadow today, guys. I just don't. I wanted to do something that looked a little bit trippy. I've seen this thing all over. How do they do it? So it would be like this. It's really hard for you guys to see these neon colors, but these are actually true neons. So I don't know much about how psilocybin works scientifically, but I do know how it feels to be on it. That was the first time that I was on it, and when I came down off of it, I had had a really cool experience that lasted something like 6, 7 hours, I don't know, something like that. And my stomach was not okay for a long time after that because I have all these stomach issues, right? So it would be years and years and years until I tripped again. But the first time that I did trip, I was in I wasn't looking to gain anything from the experience. I was just trying to have some fun. And the second time, that's really pretty. The second time that I did mushrooms, I was actually looking to have a spiritual experience, a life-changing experience. I was in a place, I was just about to get divorced for the third time. That's right, folks. 3 marriages, 3 divorces. And my fiance now is my 4th. Whew, that's a hard pill to swallow. That's hard to talk about. I didn't intend for it to go down that way. I really didn't. But it did. So I had 2 little kids, and they were still babies at that time, and I just knew that I was headed for something different. I didn't want to be where I was anymore. There were a lot of reasons for that. My 3rd husband was not kind to me at all, and I just wanted out. So when I was in that position and then I took shrooms, my mind was on the brink of something, and the shrooms kind of pushed it into a whole different thing. I don't know if any of this is making any kind of sense at all, but it is what it is. So I am now 30 years old. I think I was 30. No, I must have been 31 or 32 at that point. And I was with a very dear friend of mine, someone I worked with, respected, and cared a lot about. We would have all these philosophic conversations about life and death and the meanings of everything. And I was with her and another friend, and this experience was probably one of the most meaningful things I've ever been through in my life. So, in this experience, I was very closely bonded with this friend, and the idea of a looming divorce and, what's life about and those kind of things were all very much on my mind. And the mind is a very interesting thing, isn't it? And so with all of those things happening, my experience with the shrooms was totally different than the first time. I immediately saw things differently than I had ever seen them before. Everything seemed possible. Everything seemed possible. It seemed like instead of where I felt like I'm at the end of this 3rd marriage and I'm a failure and I am this and I am that, and in this tripping experience, I became the carpet. Allow me to explain. I think I've built this rainbow up higher than this rainbow, so I have to fix that. Allow me to explain. Everything during this trip, everything comes at you in waves, and I was met with these waves of intense sadness and intense joy. Just joy like I had never felt. I felt very connected to my friends, to the earth, to things that I had never felt connected to before. I was laying in the grass, and I had always been allergic to grass. I had stayed away from it. I was not a lay in the grass and look at the stars kind of person. I was actually not a be outside at all kind of person. I hated bugs and everything. And we were outside, we were laying on the swings, we were becoming the grass. When you lay in the grass and on mushrooms, it feels like the grass doesn't stop when it comes to you. It goes on, and you are a part of it. And the same was true about the carpet in the apartment, because when it got dark and cold, we went inside. And then everything was, I was becoming strands of carpet, like I was one lone strand of carpet. The most powerful, interesting, strange thing that I had ever felt. And my life after that experience, when the experience was finally over, I appreciated things more deeply. I loved more deeply. I saw things as a part of me instead of feeling disconnected from them. And it's a very strange, humbling, awesome feeling when you feel those things, because then you are able to connect with everything. You feel like you can literally connect with everything then. It's a very strange thing to try to explain, and I know that I'm not doing a very good job of it, but instead of, this experience being something that, oh, I did this drug and I'm so ashamed of myself or something, I don't feel that way at all. I feel grateful for the circumstances that allowed me to have that experience, and I feel more connected to everything in my life after that. It's surreal to think that taking this quote unquote drug could change me in that way. I have clinical depression and anxiety that are a part of being chronically ill. I've always been chronically ill, and that's something we can cover at another time as well, because I think that it's important to talk about. In my circumstance, I was chronically ill for no reason for a very long time. They could not figure out what was going on with me. They didn't know why I was sick. And when that's the case, a lot of the time, the reason becomes, well, this is all in your head, which is a very tough thing to hear. It wasn't true. It was just like, you've got to be kidding me. That can't be real. I know that what I'm feeling is actually what's going on. But I forget why I went down that path. So I'd always been depressed and anxious because of those kind of things. Like, I know that what I'm feeling, the pain that I'm feeling is real, but they're telling me they don't know why I would feel that way. There's no clinical reason for me to feel that way, right? So then it becomes a thing where I've tripped on this so-called drug, and now everything's looking up. I feel better. I started pursuing my art at that point, painting paintings, which I hadn't done since I was 14 years old. I started reading and hanging out with friends and doing things that I had not done in just years and years, and appreciating life more and the circumstances that were in my life. Even my sickness became easier to manage because I had this spiritual experience about being so close to the end and the beginning and everything, and so wildly connected then to everything around me. It was a very magical, otherworld kind of experience, and I am eternally grateful that I was able to have it. So, of course, I have tripped other times, but everything kind of has to line up just right for that, right? There has to be, you have to be able to have access to the drug, and you have to be in just the right state of mind to do that. And I would have to, of course, I didn't want my kids anywhere around that, so I didn't do that when I had my kids around. Just things like that. So I think probably a handful of times after that, I had tripped. That actually looks really, really pretty, guys. It's like this rainbow going into this really pretty lilac shimmer. That is very pretty. I like that. I'm going to strengthen up these outside things. So the mushroom and I are good friends. And I'm not saying, like, this isn't like everybody should trip on mushrooms thing. Although I do believe they're studying it now to see if it can do things to help depression and anxiety. And I can tell you firsthand, I believe it does. But the circumstances around that have to be just so. And that's the other thing, is that you kind of can't go into anything like that in a bad state of mind, upset, any of those kind of things. You have to be in a very specific spot, if that makes any sense. But I have personally had a very, very good experience with taking a trip out of this world onto a different plane, and it was amazeballs. I can no longer do that at all. My stomach won't allow for it now that it's paralyzed. Plus, I take a medicine that would counteract with the psilocybin completely. So I can't do that anymore. But I did get to experience it, and I had a really good experience with it. there are lots of cases where it doesn't go very well, and I'm very, I feel very bad for people who have a bad trip. I think that it's not the psilocybin that does that. It's whatever state of mind that person happens to be in that's not good. Because like I said, you really have to kind of be in a good place to get out of it what you need to get out of it. Some people don't like the feeling of being out of control, and you are definitely not in control. I'm wondering, have any of you guys tripped on mushrooms? I don't even know. This may be against YouTube guidelines. I don't really know if it is or not. I know people talk about a lot of different kind of experiences on YouTube. I support the people doing the research on microdosing people with psilocybin for depression and anxiety. I used to refer to it as kind of like a reset button that you could push on your life if things, if you felt like you needed to get back to a good place. I feel like it was a very good thing for me, and it is more natural than medication. I've taken a bunch of medication too for depression and anxiety, and there was nothing quite like my experience with psilocybin. Which is, by the way, the active ingredient in magic mushrooms. That for me, it was a life-changing experience. Now, is this palette a life-changing experience? I don't know about that. But I do know that I think that I get what they were going for with the neon and the shimmer shades, and I think that it's a beautiful palette. I like the theme and the way it looks and everything. I have somebody at my door. Okay, it wasn't somebody at the door, it was the wind. The wind's getting crazy out there. Okay, so I have also used something called mushroom tea, and that was cool. It's just a different delivery system. Used it at camping grounds before, all kinds of different places. Very interesting stuff. Take trips now than ever before. I don't know if I like this Breakfast at Tiffany's color with this. I think I might use a different color. Whew, and now I'm getting hot. Okay, I'm gonna come back when more of this is done, okay? All done with this look. I absolutely love it. What do you guys think? It's that almost like a really dreamy kind of, you're in a dream state rainbow thing. It's more accurate to the type of rainbow situation you would have like on a bubble, that those color things. I still love my nails so much. When I asked the guy to do the rainbow thing, I put down the colors in front of me and he was like, that's not rainbow, those are Skittles. I was like, right, right. Okay, so the packaging on this palette is everything. When you are tripping on mushrooms, everything comes to you in these wavy looking things. And to be able to stare at something like this when you are tripping on mushrooms is quite a delight, because all of this moves. It moves in and out and at you and back, and it's cool because you almost feel like you're traveling on these lines. All of this will make absolutely zero sense to you if you've never had a trippy experience, but they nailed this. They nailed it. They nailed it. They nailed it. They nailed the packaging. They nailed even the mirror. Is just so very interesting. Everything about the color story is very trippy. And I just think that they did such a fantastic job. As soon as I saw it, I knew that I needed to have it, because for me, that experience with psilocybin was magical. It was, excuse me, like I said, I just can't quit with the burping. I've had so many troubles in the last 5-6 days with my stomach and my gastroparesis and all that. It's just been kind of a nightmare. But anyway, I absolutely enjoyed everything about this palette. I will keep this forever because just the way that I feel about it is so special. It truly did change my life. It changed the person that I am. All of a sudden, I'm hanging out outside with my kids. My mom's like, you don't like to be outside. What's that about? It's like, I just had this new appreciation for everything in life. And so that is my story, friends, of tripping on mushrooms. And I am so glad to start out my story times with something so very different and interesting for you guys. I'm so happy to be telling that story. I'm now ready to go to get my medicine from the dispensary. This is my dispensary medicine that I'm about to get. And I need it because it's one of the only things that helps me eat with the gastroparesis, because, and we'll talk about gastroparesis in more depth at some point, but just the idea of food, there's a mental block now in my brain with it, because after so many years of food causing so much pain for my system, I actually have a mental block against it. And smoking marijuana helps me to get past that block so that I can be like, okay, I can eat. It's okay to eat now. Because not eating is no good, friends. And a lot of people with my conditions end up with feeding tubes, and I just don't want that for my life. I'm trying to stay as healthy as I can for as long as I can. So, thank you guys so much for listening to me babble. And I will see you guys on the next one. I think we're going to be doing, I know we're going to be doing another rainbow palette, and I'd like to do some recreating some things off Instagram. I have so much that I want to do, guys, and I'm just held to the constraints of my illness sometimes, where I lay in bed for like 4 days and I can't get up, and I have all these things in my mind. I want to do this, 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 and this, and I just can't do it. So thank you so much for listening to me babble, and I hope that you guys are having a great week. Please let me know down below if you have ever had any experience with mushrooms, psilocybin, or if you think that kind of thing is just awful and you don't want any part of it. I welcome all comments down below. Okay, guys, I will see you on the next one. Bye. It's not at all a sunny day here. I forgot to show you guys my new little mushroom. Isn't he cute? I got this is a company called Squishables, and he's just a little keychain mushroom. You can squish him. I love it. I love the little squishable. All right, I was just showing you my keychain. I'm a goof. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Yikes. For more captivating videos from Mandy's Makeup Adventures. Like, subscribe, share, and I will see you guys on the next adventure.